as we Danny Young shared on our previous call, also an extremely smart gentleman, which doesn't hurt as you're trying to figure out.
No, he's way smarter than he puts himself. He's the I may just be a small town Southern lawyer. He's the Matlock of
just really planned out. Cool. Well, I appreciate you joining me. We'll hit the leaderboards here in a second, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we got a video out there. So I'll pass it over to Juliana if you want to get us started.
Thank you, Foresters, for making me smart and cool.
A badge of honor for us to say that we were the first carrier with Symmetry Financial Group. Brian Pope introduced us to two young guys.
I said, I don't think they got a chance, but you know what? They're nice, we give them a shot.
These guys have a vision for 10 billion in 10 years, and man, we're gonna chase that thing down.
Cheers, love you guys.
Well, that was an awesome video. I love it when I get to see things for the first time right along with you all. But man, what an awesome trip that was. That was a lot of footage from our recent destination trip down to LeBlanc in Cancun, and That was awesome. That was my 5 year or 6 years ago. My very first trip with Symmetry Financial Group was to LeBlanc, and got to come full circle and back around. And man, the water was so beautiful. The resort was top notch, and man, just what an awesome experience to be around everybody and get to share time with you, Christopher, and just so many folks. I think as I remember, we were called. I think it was actually our 2019 trip that we were taking.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Yeah, it's 2019. Yeah.
Yep. All been switched around and mishmashed at this point. I can't really remember, but man, it was just all awesome after, years of being, away from folks and getting back around. I mean, I think there's just so much energy and positivity that comes in this business from that connection and that association that we get. So.
And the chocolate souffle at the French restaurant, just, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Well, so if you haven't paid attention, then make sure you check out. We got our destination qualifier trip right now. We're in qualifications for what will be the 2023 trip. So check out HQ and the destinations page and get more information. But I tell you what, it's worth the effort to get there. So be around all the great leaders, and both old and new in Symmetry Financial Group. Well, I'm going to jump in and get started with our leaderboards for today. I'm feeling a little nervous, I'll be honest with you. It's been a minute since I've read leaderboards, and I'm not sure how practiced I am on names. Hopefully they gave me some easy ones, but let me jump over here.
Like I told you, I mean, I unmuted, I unveiled, I am here to be, you throw me under the bus. I am here to help you out, Doc.
Nice, very good. All right, I'm trying to, that worked. Well, I have to do it like this. Give me 1 second. Go. All right. Got that coming through over there, Mr. Clark?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well,
Gotcha.
as I mentioned in the beginning, we'll get us started on a little PowerPoint presentation. We've got Managing Vice President Christopher Clark and agency owner Omar Diaz here to join us and talk to us all about surrendering to success. First up on our leaderboards, we got our top 10 new writers for the week. Coming in at number 3, we've got Matthew Murphy with 5,000 in APV. Number 2, Jasmine Jones. Ooh, that's a couple of alliteration right at the top for me. Easy ones right out of the gate. I like it. Number 1 for the week, Shelby Curtis Moheel. Ooh, that threw me. There's a lot of vowels.
One mole.
Mole. Yeah, that's a good guess. Yeah, Shelby Curtis Mole. Either way, awesome first week. These are all new writers submitting their first applications with us for the week. That's awesome for a first starting week right out of the gates. For the month of April, we got coming in at number 3, Venus Diaz. Any relation to Omar? Maybe not. It's a pretty common last name. Nope. All right. John David Ward with 23,000 for the month of April. And coming in at number 1, Daniel Davis with, whoo, that's one a heck of a first month out of the gates. Look at that, with almost 40,000, $38,042 in APB for the first month. That is awesome. Congratulations, Daniel. All right, these are our folks that have been around at least for longer than 1 week. Our top 10 producers for the week in APV, we've got Jose Maldonado with 23,000. Quixote Atkins. That is an awesome first name. Quixote Atkins with 28,000, almost 29,000 in APV. Would you look at that? Somebody's been working in Puerto Rico. Let's just pause here for a minute. Mr. Edward Pritchett, a man that probably would never have to sell another insurance policy in his entire life. $35,000 in APV.
He's just made different. He's just made different.
You talk about leading from the front,
Yes, sir.
We've been through so many changes over the last couple of years, and man, there's just something to be said for folks that are still willing to roll up their sleeves and get in there and show people not only could we do it, you know, 10 years ago when Mr. Pritchett started, but can still do it today. And not only can he do it today, he can get 35,000 in APV. That is awesome. All right, for the month, we got number 3, Sean Hogue. Number 2, Emmanuel Manuel. We got number 1, Andre Nero with whoo. Apparently, he is an entire agency unto himself for the month of April. That is massive. I'd love to hear more about how that happened, Mr. Nero. That is impressive. All right, we got our top 10 producers in app count. Coming in at number 3, Edward Pritchett. So he did that on 20 applications. Number 2, Jennifer Giovanni with 24 applications. And number 1, Benjamin Miller out there still putting in some applications with 31. Christopher, what was your biggest week, app count week?
App count, I did like 14, 15 one week. I set up something and I just ran through it. I probably would have not made the leaderboard. You know, I'm saying 1450. There's some revisionist history there, maybe 13. You know, I probably wouldn't have made the leaderboard.
It's okay. You know, I can find out, but you just fluff the stats all you need to.
Yeah.
All right, our top app count for the month, we have Derek Robinson with 50 apps. Andre Nero with 74. I guess that tells you a little bit how I had such a big month. 74 applications coming in. Ooh, still eked out though with that big week this week by Ben Miller. Awesome. All right, top Medicare supplement producers. We've got Chad Simper coming in at number 3. Katarina Pellegrino coming in at number 2. And number 1, Addison Burr. Total for the month of April, Addison Burr came in at number 3. Brian Boyles at number 2. And top Medicare supplement producer for the month, Holly Lockhart, with just under $3 grand in Medicare supplement production. All right, top 5 disability income producers. Got number 3, Rebecca Hamilton. Number 2, Terry Myers. And number 1, Damian Brewer with just shy 1,800 in APV. For the month of April, we got Emmanuel Gundepi. I have to pause. Emmanuel Gundepi. I have to say it faster. Anytime you slow down when you're trying to pronounce something, I figure out. You might as well say it fast and mess it up and say it slow and massacre it. That's what I've learned in my 6 years here. There we go. Mr. Smith showing up real nice for me. Brian Smith, number 2. And number 1, Dana Green with just shy of $5 grand in disability. Great product as standalone, but also something that's great to add to any product you're selling out there. All right, number 1, our top 5 IUL producers for the month. We've got Madhuri Waj with 16 grand. Number 3, although I would say we were sailing through. We were sailing through today.
Yeah, Oluwadila Milola Onifade.
I'll let you get that one.
I'm just gonna fall on that one for you, bud. I appreciate you.
That's great. Awesome. Congrats. And Jose Maldonado coming in at number 1. Over here, we've got on the top 5 producers for the month. We've got Lee Israel with 41,000 in production. Coming in, I'm gonna let you have this one again since you did such a great job the first time around.
Yeah, that's my boy Lola. That's
right. That's right. We're gonna call him Ollie. We can come up.
Yeah.
We'll send us some nicknames. We apologize, but Olawan Damiola. Olawan Damiola, number 2. I think that was pretty close. I feel good about it. All right, Rocco Pearson coming in with almost 90 grand in IUL production for the month of April. All right, top 5 annuity producers. We've got Gregory Ace at 294 in face amount. Daniel Armstrong, coming in just short of $500,000, and then at 800,000 in annuity production for the month. We've got Angela Patterson. Coming in number 3 for the month, we've got Michael Pietro, sorry about that, just shy of 800,000. Angela Patterson just eking him out with that great week this week. Must have been a big old annuity she got. Coming in number 1, Blaine Jones with 812,000 in face amount for annuities. All right, top debt-free life producers. Martin Kimboy with 8,700. Ashley Dubin with 12,100. And then coming in at top, Another Pritchett atop the leaderboards. The father-son duo, Edward being the son, Theo being the father, with 12,700 in debt-free life production. All right, number 3 for the month, we got Rebecca Wilhite. Number 2, Lisa Rednauer. And number 1, Mr. Scott Forehand with 42,000 in debt-free life production for the month. Don't know about debt-free life? Get on HQ, check out the page, get yourself in a training program and learn all about it. All right, total recruits we've got for the week. Base Shop, Ben Safety4 coming in. Number 5, Ashley and Tyre Harris with 7, and Mr. Rob Puckett. Good to see him atop the recruit leaderboard with 8 for the past week. Top directs, we've got, ooh, look at that, John Ziller. Number 2, Chris Cook, and number 1, Jacob Bowe. 43 directs recruits for the month. Top base shop licensed recruits. Remember, those licensed folks are the ones that come and get started right away. So we've got, I think that is Mike Casey with an extra seat. So we'll say Mike Casey with 5, Rob Puckett, getting those recruits not just on board, as Mr. Young was telling us all about, getting them to write business. So 5 for him, and just eking them out for first place, Ashley Tarr and Tyler Harris with 6 base shop license recruits. All right, on the direct license, we've got Marshall Whalen coming in number 3, Jacob Pogue at number 2, and Edward Pritchett topping them out at number 1 with 15 licensed recruits. That's right, I was a little early on that. I said writers, but that's licensed recruits. So 5 out of 8, not bad. All right, so coming in for our top base shop writers, we've got Sarah Reinecke, and then a tie at top with Mr. Frank Brennes. He was just telling us all about getting those writers activated and started. And the marvelous Marlon Faulkner tied with 4 for the week. Ooh, we got a little separation over here. We got George and Janet Matthews coming in at number 3 with 8, Marlon Faulkner with 9, and Jacob Pogue with 19. I was just looking at something. I know I'll share this just because I got a great text here from George from George Matthews, who is currently down in Cabo with Kevin and Michelle Purdy. But record month for them in the month of March was 675,000 in March, and then blew that out of the water at 856,000 in the month of April. And records for both forehands and Paul Bine with 300,000 each. So thanks for sharing that, George. We are excited and grateful as well. And a great way to keep that production growing and going is keep adding those new riders to the team. All right, now our SNA status. For those of you not in the know, check it out. But this is seasoned new agents, meaning they've gotten their first 6 apps in 6 weeks. And well, massive tie at 3rd place with 16 with 1, but Nicholas Ho coming in with 2, and Jamie Susie getting 3 seasoned new agents for the week. Our top direct, we've got Dave Alvarado, Ashley Tarr and Tyler Harris, Kevin Purdy, Scott Summers, all tied for 2nd place with 2, and then coming in number 1, Jacob Pogue, getting those folks not just to write that first application, but write those 6. And as we know, the chance of success increases exponentially after those 6 applications. So if you're new and you're working, that's your target. All right, our list of seasoned new agents. We've got Ann Davis, Ariana Best, Christopher Hare, Cutrell Gilliam, Damian Brewer, Eduardo De Leon, Eric Benavides, Gina Compton, Giovanni Hairmeyer, Heidi Harder, Jared Saldalis, Jennifer Hotaling, Melissa Daniloff, Michael Lincoln, Shelby Curtis Mole, Stacy Lindemann Fask, Stephen Piball, Taylor Bowles, Tracy Carroll, Benita Johnson, and Victoria Hayes. Whew. Sorry I didn't name the uplines. You can see all those there, but
You're great. You're great.
Yeah, that was good. That was all fairly straightforward. Yeah, it's really cool. I was talking about this earlier today, Christopher, just we rolled this out. I think it's probably been, 8 months, 10 months since we added this level into our levels of leadership. And it's just awesome to see. I think when we started, we, probably averaged, 8 to 10 a week, maybe. Now a low week for us is more like 18 to 20, and we're topping out close to 30 some weeks. So just so much effort and work with both the agency owners and our sales heads in the home office, just focus on what do we need to do to get those folks through this process, get them to that point so they're profitable and able to keep moving forward and growing their business. So congratulations to everybody on this list. Certainly no easy task, but keep up the good work. All right, our key leaderboards for the week. We've got coming in at number 3, Brett Diamond, number 2, Landry Peterson, and number 1, Holly Jacobs for almost 35,000 in tea production. For the monthly, we've got Chris Leak at number 3, John Bryant coming in at number 2, and our top key leader for the month as well. Congratulations, Holly, with 102,000 in team production. Well, I'd say everybody on this list well on their way to becoming agency owners, the next step on the rung up the ladder. So congratulations, everybody here. All right, top agency owners for the week. We've got Jamie Susie at number 3, Mr. Carlton Lear at number 2, and coming in at number 1, Chad Harrington with just shy of 74,000 in his team production for the week. For the month, Jamie Susie at number 3, Shay PV at number 2, John Paul Better, and coming in at top, Chad Harrington with just shy of 225,000 in team production for the month. That is a great month, and all those folks working their way up that commission chain as well. So congrats to all our agency owners. Agency directors for the week. Brian Rachel Jernigan with 102,000. Dave Alvarado coming in at 113,500. And the wonderful Larry and Ann Griffin atop our leaderboard this week with 125,000. For the month, we got Larry and Ann Griffin coming in 3rd. Dave Alvarado hitting 2nd place again. And our top for the month, Rob Puckett. Well, that is most definitely not Rob Puckett. Pretty sure.
It's looking good.
Pretty sure. I know.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Mr. Puckett. That clearly the copy and paste button worked a little too well for today, but 100 almost. It was an awesome month, Rob. Almost just shy of $2 million in total team production for the month. So keep up the hard work, and we will make sure we got your right headshot in there. And for those of you who see your name but not your image, please make sure you send us over a headshot so we can get you on here and see your wonderful faces. All right, regional agency directors for the week. We've got Andrew Jimenez coming in at number 3, Trey Anderson Cloutier coming in at number 2, and number 1 for the week, Eileen Balmer, just eking out Trey. Coming in, we've got for the month, Josh Manzano with 425,000, Trey coming in with just over 580,000, and Eileen hitting both the weekly and monthly leaderboards with 730,000 in team production. All right, let's see here.
Now going back a slide,
Category.
rumor on the street going back a slide is that Amy Fine might be in a little bit of a 120 run right now. No pressure, Ames, but yeah, she's
good looking numbers to get there.
Yeah, I think Hemi's right on it. So I mean, this is a good looking group right here.
Wow. The young guns coming for all.
That's right.
All the old seasoned folks here. Well, yeah, both on those leaderboards. Great point. Yep. Keep up the good work. All right, managing vice presidents. This is your category right here. Let's see where you are. Oh gosh, I hit too many buttons. Yeah, coming in, Chris Cook at number 3 this week. Brad and Kiera Gainey coming in at number 2, and Marvelous Mullen Faulkner coming in at number 1 with 158,000 team volume. For the month, we've got Brad and Kiera coming in at number 3, Marlon Faulkner coming in at number 2, and number 1, Mr. Chris Cook. 3rd place for the week, but 1st place for the month. Congratulations, Cook Agency, for all the great work. All right, senior vice presidents. We've got always awesome to see his smiling face on these leaderboards. Mr. Jimmy Spieldiner's Financial Group still going strong, 204 for the week. Nate Offer coming in at 252,000, and then Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell coming in at 266,000. For the month, the Spiel Dinner Group, Nate Offer and Lisa and Kyle rounded out the month with $1.26 million in production. That's great. We got a mirror image here, don't we, for the week and the month. All right, well, that's some good competition out there. All right, Executive Vice President for the week. We've got, there we go. Coming in at number 3, Sean Shannon. Number 2, Miranda Martin. And number 1, Mr. Carl Miller. Then we've got Miranda Martin. Whoop, flip-flopping there. Miranda Martin in 3rd for the month. Sean Shannon coming in 2nd place with just over 500,000 for the month, and then coming in at number 1, Carl Miller, 1st place for the week and month. Congratulations, Miller Group. We got 852,000 in team production. Associate partners for, no, say we're thinking about it here. Hold on 1 second. Oh no, we don't want to do that. Microsoft PowerPoint. There we go. Then you want to restart the program? I don't think that would be terrible timing. All right, we got clicked a little head too far. Ryan and Michelle Miller in 3rd place, Jacob Hogan 2nd place, and Lynn Watkins at 787,000 for the week. And we've got Ashley Tarr and Tyler Harris coming in at 3 for the month. Jacob Hogue with over 2 million in team production for the month. And then we've got Lynn Watkins rounding out the top for the week and the month with just shy of $4 million. Our senior partners for the week, Smith Agency coming in at 503, Mr. Danny Young coming in at 569,000, and Edward Pritchett topping them off with some of that coming off his own pen with $1.2 million for the week. That's awesome to see. I remember celebrating when folks out there first crossed that $1 million threshold as teams grew for the week. It's an awesome week at 1.2 million. Senior Partners Monthly, Smith Agency coming in 3rd, Danny Young getting 2nd place, and Mr. Edward Pritchett with $5.5 million for the month of April. All right, we've got coming in our managing partners, Brian Delaney in 3rd, Kevin Purdy in 2nd place for the week, and number 1, Mr. Marshall Whalen with $1.139 million for the month or for the week. Rounding out the month, we got Brian in 3rd, Mr. Kevin Purdy in 2nd, and topping them off with an awesome month of $4.9 million, almost $5 million in team production. So I always love to see the back and forth there, but great months and weeks for everybody. All right, our directs weekly leaderboard. Coming in number 3, Kevin Purdy. Number 2, Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell. Number 1, we've got Jacob Hogue with 373,000 in his direct. So that's everybody outside of the 120s. On the month, we've got Kevin Purdy, number 3, George and Janet Matthews coming in at number 2, and Jacob Hogue rounding them out at the top with $1.3 million for the month of April in his direct agency. All right, base shop leaderboards. Remember, this is all the folks, these folks are bringing direct to them, hiring and recruiting. We got Frank Brennis coming in with 43,000, Andrew Jimenez with 45, and Edward Pritchett with 50,000. So not only is he selling insurance, he's building his base. Smart man over there. Pay attention. All right, we got Ashley and Tyler Harris at number 3, or Ashley Tarr and Tyler Harris at number 3 for the month. Dave Alvarado with number 2 for the month, and then rounding out the top, we've got Paul Buying for the month with 260,000. Seeing some new faces on here. There's a lot of the folks coming over and formerly at Assure and now joining the team. So awesome to see all these great folks. I've had a chance to meet and know a lot of them, and excited to have them joining the ranks over here and seeing them on the leaderboards. All right, we are also, whoa, look at that, so this, just remember, bonus money All right, so this is not commissions, this is not overrides, this is bonus money paid out by the company to these awesome individuals for a total of 1.4 or just over $1 million in equity and 120 bonuses for the month. We've got our capital bonuses as well, right? So anybody that is not a 120 with a 120 has a chance to qualify for a monthly bonus. That's our capital bonus meant for builders. Yeah, topping us out, George and Janet Matthews with a nice $3,000 check for the month, and working their way up to the next level, getting that next person up to 120 to unlock the rest of that bonus income, but for a total of $84,000, almost $85,000 for the month. And then our top producer bonuses for the month. Congratulations to everybody here. You know, as we always like to do, and you know, one of the coolest things I ever see Brandon and Casey get in a room and talk about is just how they can make sure they're giving the money back to the people doing the work. So all of these folks, so that's almost $100,000 in bonus money for our producers, with a grand total of $1.22 million in bonus payouts for the month. So again, that is above and beyond the commissions and the overrides that you earn. That is money given back from the company to all of you great folks for the hard work and just something to celebrate. So I didn't know I was going to get to cover all this today. I forgot it was the first call of the month. So congratulations to everybody out there, and there is more to go around. So if you don't see your name on the list, make sure you check out HQ and the requirements and know what you need to do to get there. All right. Live in HQ. And when we wrap up, the last thing I'll do is I'll show you this. I've got it pulled up on my screen, but I'm going to keep going through the PowerPoint. We've got a Symmetry coaching page live. If you go under the training into Symmetry coaching, you will see information and the ability to register. I'll demo that for y'all here in just a minute. But after lots of questions coming in, Brian Williamson, our Chief Leadership Development Officer, spun up a page, so you'll get answers to all of these wonderful questions and have the chance to register right there. So I'll show you that in just a minute. Again, open enrollment is here and live for all Symmetry agents. I remember actually, Christopher, you and I were talking about this, what, 3 years ago, something like that. And
I was very passionately banging on a table at Native, and you and poor Logan were basically getting, I think I had 14 different plans to make this work.
It is, well, man, that it's just an awesome representation of just the partnership we have with all our agency owners out there. I mean, you know, you brought it to us, you put it in front of us, and you said, this is what I see. This is a challenge. This is a pain point for people coming in, you know, as they got to find affordable health insurance. And so, you know, it took us a while. We took it to heart. We found a plan that was okay, you know, didn't quite meet the full scale of the needs we had. So if you haven't, there is a page on HQ. You can go check it out. You can enroll now for all active existing agents. There is an open enrollment period. I don't have the dates, but I believe it ends midway through June.
Yes. Yeah, it goes live June 1st.
Yeah, so you have to, if you are active existing now, you have that period of time to sign up and enroll. It's a great plan, great benefits, very cost effective, available in all 50 states, no pre-existing conditions. There's a recording of the training we did last week for you to go access and learn about, but go check it out, get yourself signed up, and make sure that you're covered and protected. While you're on the page, feel free to check out our life insurance part of Protect the Protector and My Life Plan. We've got both great options from America and Foresters on there, and get yourself a life insurance policy where we will cover the first year of those life insurance premium payments for you. All right, so leads available. All right, top for this week. Top available, but I want to be clear because we've had a little bit of confusion. Standing orders, right? How do you get these leads? These leads are not sitting in inventory, just to be clear. They're not there for you to go buy, but they are there for you to go ask us to go get for you. So I think we've had a little confusion the past couple of weeks to people like, well, they're not in inventory. And I said, well, we ain't going to spend the dollar on them until we're sure you want them. So go put a standing order, add a state to your standing order if you have it, but a lot of great opportunity. Be on the lookout. We are pouring a lot of energy into the forecast tools and what we're going to be working on to make sure we have clear direction for everybody. You know, we got agents all over the place, but I can tell you the two things to be successful is be ready to get some non-resident licenses. If you don't have them, that's a great opportunity to extend into other areas, but also statewide GMRs and getting your virtual sales under your belt. So I know we're opening up and people are starting to get back in person a little bit more, but maximize your reach, maximize what you can do by being willing to get proficient on the virtual side of selling. All right, upcoming events. We've got tomorrow, the carrier webinar hosted by Forresters. Was hanging with them earlier. I'm going to go hang with them a little this afternoon. Tips to get cases issued quickly. Always great for everybody to get things issued and get the client covered and get yourself paid so you can keep moving forward. And then next Tuesday, our advanced market solution with Mr. Mike Resma, our VP of advanced markets. Just about the most exciting person to take a training with I could imagine in my entire life. We have to like soundproof his office because he gets so excited about it, but just done a bang up job in pushing forward debt-free life. And we're just so excited about where it's going and also where it's going to be able to go. Also coming up, we have May 5th. Make sure you check this out. Joining as our first agent representative, our first male agent representative, Marlon Faulkner, getting on there with Meredith to discuss In Search of Harmony. I had the pleasure of getting to join my lovely wife a couple of our last months to do that, and just so incredibly proud of the work these women have done and just how they're pushing forward the vision and mission of Connect and not just here in Quility, but just a lot of great ideas of how they're going to reach beyond our walls and make sure that we are providing the support and opportunity that is great for so many women here at Symmetry. So make sure you check that out. Just go on Instagram to the Quility Instagram page and you'll get a notification of when it starts. Next tomorrow at 3:30. Connect at Quility. All right, this is a big one next week. I've received about 14 reminders from folks not on the call to say, make sure you hit this, as I got a big old slide to remind me. So next week, State of the Union. So Brandon and Casey are fired up to get back in front of you all. You know, we're trying our best and have been on top of keeping this cadence up to make sure we're giving you all updates. You know, this is going to be, I think, our last big update before all the awesome stuff you get to see in Denver at the conference. But make sure you mark your calendar, invite your friends and your family and your mom and your grandma and whoever else wants to come and see all the awesome stuff happening behind the scenes. I'm excited because some very specific things I've been working on myself for quite a while. We're going to get to talk about next week. Some pretty exciting changes and updates when it comes to our agent onboarding and contracting. So that's all I'll say about that. But make sure you tune in next week. All right, DFL Boot Camp. Live and in person. You can register on May 12th to 13th in Dallas, Texas. So check out hq.quility.com and the Debt Free Life page to get yourself registered. Well, I would say that's impossible as that's in the past. So I wonder if this was supposed to be for a boot camp in the future. We will get you updated information. Unless anybody has a time machine, then feel free to head back to the 29th and get yourself registered. I'll double check on that for y'all. That must clearly be a mistake. All right, these, however, are not mistakes. Heard some great feedback. Some of our spring tour, just so awesome to be actually on spring tour, number one. These were pretty regular events for us, but upcoming, we've got May 25th in Dallas, Texas, June 1st, Orlando, June 15th in Las Vegas, Nevada, and June 22nd in Indianapolis, Indiana. So all sponsored by our wonderful partner, American Amicable. Make sure you go check them out. Make sure you stop and give some time and get to meet our wonderful representatives from American Amicable. They'll be there to answer your questions and give you an idea of who they are. And as you saw in the video, our first life insurance partner when Symmetry started, and still going strong. All right, I reached the end, but I'm gonna do this real quick. I apologize to the people's names that I clearly did massacre. Did my best. I'm out of practice a little bit. I'll have to get back in here and get a little bit more seasoned. I'm going to show real quick because I know we've good Lord, there's a lot of leaderboards to read nowadays, which is awesome. I'm just going to show you real quick, just because I told Brian Williamson I would. And then I'm going to pass it over to you, Chris, to get started. So real quick here, we've got, this is your page at HQ. All the upcoming groups, what everything means, what the calendar is, what the group sizes are, and then all you got to do is click right here on this button to get yourself registered. I have heard that several of these are full. They're small groups because they are effective as small groups. So make sure you get to that page. You just go over here. I got more options on my HQ over here, but just go over here under training, right down there, Symmetry Coaching, and get signed up to the wonderful network of coaches we have. Brian's done some analytics and produced some results out there, but definitely worth your time and energy to get out there and take one of those courses, and just seen great success in folks that have joined to move through that process. All right, I feel like I need a stretch and a breath, but Mr. Clark, very excited.
Yes, sir.
You got with you Mr. Omar Diaz. Great to see you, Omar. Excited and just, man, awesome to see how you've grown, and still love seeing your name on a lot of leaderboards nowadays, but excited for what you and Mr. Clark have to share. I am going to head on out and get over and see our carrier partners. So Mr. Clark and Omar, you take them where you need to take them and close them down. But grateful for both of you and everyone out there in the Symmetry world. And we'll see you next week for State of the Union. Take
Incredible.
it away, boys.
Thanks, Doug. Send our regards and our gratitude. Appreciate you, bud. Okay. Omar, escúchame. Lo vas a hacer genial. Te ganaste esta oportunidad. ¿Sí? ¿Verdad?
Love you, Mr.
Love
Clark.
you too, man.
How are you, man?
I'm well.
Those are a lot of leaderboards for today.
Yeah. Listo. ¿Sí?
Always listo.
Okay.
Siempre estoy listo.
Okay. A lot of leaderboards today, but that's okay. Bought you some time. I'm going to introduce you. Okay. And we're going to put you out there. We're going to have some love for you. And you're just going to have to take it. So let me introduce everyone to Omar Diaz, a 2-time Golden Pin winner, an agency owner, a father of 3, a new abuelo, and in my humble opinion, the best agent in Symmetry. The hierarchical structure would say that I am the person leading him, but the facts and the reality and the conversations would very much say that he is leading me. I have not met someone who has challenged me to be a better person day in, day out, not just through words, not just through challenge, but support and just a consistent example. So Omar, welcome to the call. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely, man. Chris, thank you. Grateful
Sure.
for you. Grateful for, May 25th. That's my birthday. That's the day that I had my first interview with you. And that's when I made the decision to leave my job and come into this wonderful career opportunity. So grateful for Brandon, Casey, Brian. Grateful for Mike, Jen, Smith, Edward Pritchett. There's so many leaders right here you got to be grateful. You might not be direct to a whole lot of people, but you are so grateful for everybody on this call, from the 120s to the 110s to the 70%, whatever you want to call me, agents starting up. But it's just so grateful to be here. It's been impactful in my life, all these people. It's changed my life. It's changed my kid's life. It's changed my wife's life. It's made me a better person. So that's what I'm grateful for. And, just happy to be here. A little bit nervous and humble at the same time to be chosen to be here. And I feel like a huge responsibility is on to represent you and the whole hierarchy as best we can.
Well, that's okay. Like I said, you earned this. Speaking of your wife, Iria está mirando or no?
No, Iria She is on her way actually to pick up our son in college, Diego. He's coming
Okay,
back today.
Yeah.
Today
Okay.
was the last day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Seem pretty see on this. Well, let's get into it then, man.
Sure, man.
So we thought of really, I want to kind of part the curtain. I want to use you as the example of really what a successful agent looks like and your journey. Sometimes the journey's simple, straightforward. We can focus on the good things, but let's not pretend it's all rainbows and unicorns. There have been struggles, but
Oh yeah.
you've also grown stronger through your struggles. And so we came up with the title of Submit to Success, right? So just straight out of the gate, a lot of people would see that and say, why submit to success? Well, some of us fight success, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, some of us fight success. I have this incredible quote from Viktor Frankl at the very beginning of Man's Search for Meaning. He speaks about success, and he says, don't aim at success. The more you aim at it and make it a target, the more you're going to miss it. For success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue. And it only does so as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a cause greater than oneself, or as the byproduct of one's surrender to a person other than oneself. Happiness must happen, and the same holds true for success. You have to let it happen by not caring about it alone. If you want to listen to what your conscious commands you do and go on to carry it out to the best of your knowledge, then you will live to see that in the long run. In the long run, success will follow you precisely because you have forgotten to think about it. You're a perfect example of a person who let success ensue because you focused on a cause greater than yourself. And you had a lot of opportunities, right? You went to Harvard Law School. You grew up in a very wealthy upper middle class family. You had all the opportunities in the world, and of course, on top of all of that, are a huge extrovert, right?
I think you're saying it up for the total opposite, aren't you, Chris?
Yes, I am.
So my name's Chris, and you are my friend, aren't you?
Yes,
So
sir.
let me tell you a little bit about me, my background, so you kind of understand a bit more. I did not graduate high school. I actually, by the pressure of my sister, because I was working in Mexico unloading trucks for my father-in-law. He didn't know he was going to be my father-in-law at the time, and neither did I. But I was unloading trucks for, this big trucks that were coming in from rice, beans, things of that nature. And my sister called me one day. Actually, that was at the age of 13. And my sister, at that time, me, my sister, and my brother, we actually became homeless. And I ended up living with my wife's brother, which they didn't know he was going to be my brother-in-law, but he was, I was working for him, so he gave me a place to live. So at that point, I lived with him to the age of 15, 17, I think, yeah, 17. At that point, my sister called me up and said, hey, you need to come back to the United States and you need to get bare minimum your GED. I dropped out in 9th grade by necessity. We had to get to work. Dropped out in 9th grade, and when I turned 17, my sister called me up and said, hey, you need to get your GED. So I got a job at McDonald's, and I was a cook at McDonald's, and I would go study to get my GED. And at the time, El Paso had a program where if you got your GED, they would give you a $500 bonus. So that was about, I'm 45 now, I'm gonna be 45. So that was when I was 17, so you can do the math. But I needed the $500 to buy a car, because I was riding the bus to get my GED. I would get out, grab the bus, and go to McDonald's and work. From there, my journey in the restaurant business really started. An opportunity opened up where a company, my last employer, Libby's Cafeteria, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say names or anything, but I worked for them 20 years. They opened up, and it used to be required you had at least a bachelor's degree to become a manager. But because I had more than 2 years of restaurant experience, that kind of made up for the 2 years. So got an opportunity to be there, and I lasted there 19 years, 7 months. A year and a half before I left Luby's, I basically, my wife got sick. Remember that I told you a story? It was 5 o'clock in the morning. It was actually 4:30. I was getting ready to go to work. And my wife was sick and I couldn't get a hold of anybody to go open up the restaurant. So I told my wife, hey, get ready. I'm just gonna open up the restaurant. I'll let people in. I'll come back and take the hospital. So we did that and, took her to a hospital. Things were fine. Just liver infection. I got some fever, but you know how fever gets. My wife is not one to complain. When my wife needs to go to the hospital, something serious is happening. So ended up going there. And while I was at the hospital, I was getting text messages from my employer saying, hey, we need you to come back to work as soon as you're done. So I called up after we got out of the hospital and quit. So the president of the company actually called me back and said, what is happening? How can you just call up and quit? I said, well, this is what's happening. Convinced me to stay. Stuck a year and a half later. You really don't leave a 20-year job just out of the gate. You plan. So once I got back, I started looking for work from home jobs. And here comes Christopher Clark. He pops up and I had an interview with you. And here I am, 4.5 years later. So, yeah.
I mean, it's just incredible. And I will speak to the fact that the right people come into our lives if we do the right activities to put ourselves into our lives. And you are an incredible example of the right person coming into my life, right? Like you have lifted me up and challenged me so much and been such a great example, honestly, to me and my family. And when we spoke, one of the very first things I thought was, this guy is nervous. This is not the best interview, but this guy wants to change his life and is willing to do so. And
absolutely.
So I will, put it a little bit more on the bullet points which we had. And I will say, you were not a loud salesperson. You'd never really sold anything before. You
never
don't
did
have
sales,
to
never
be,
did insurance.
Nope. And you don't have to be great. You have to be committed to getting better, to learning, be emotionally aware. You are an incredible listener, sir. You hear people's feelings. You understand how to be sincere. You're great in a one-on-one. So tell me, like, this introversion that we kind of talked about, is that an excuse?
So my name's Omar, and I'm an introvert, fully introverted. I do not like big stages. I do not like being, just don't like it. I really like my own space and I like being alone. But the reality is this. I read a quote the other day that says, if you want to be unique, you got to be willing to be different. Sometimes different is being introverted, but that's not an excuse. That's just who you are. The very first time after we got off the interview with Symmetry, I started Googling Symmetry, right? It's like everybody does. And the first video that came up was a video from Brandon Nelson talking about change. I had it saved in my browser. Well, this video, Brandon Nelson says, too many times we become passionate with things that we want. One becomes sales agent, we want a house, we want a car, we want finances. He says, versus being passionate about the people or the person that we want to become. And I think that was what's important to me. I had spent, 20 years away from my family, away from my kids, away from my wife, just completely away from that. Kind of had to refine myself. And, I wanted to become a better person. I wanted to become a better father. And this might hurt some spousal students out there, but when I left my job, my average W-2 was about $172,000 to $180,000 a year. That's what I made in the last 10 years. So had a conversation with my wife. Hey, we're going into sales. Might make 50. I don't know. She said, well, if we lose a house, we lose a car, we don't care. As long as we get you back, that's all that matters. So kudos to her because she said that. And that really didn't help me settle for less. It helped me push for more. And I think you need those kind of people in your life. But in this video, Brandon talks about what we need to change. And he says the difference between that is the difference between winning and losing. When you decide to change who you are, when you decide to change the way you view yourself, the way you think of yourself, the way you do things, the way you talk, the way you walk, That is the difference between winning and losing. And I knew coming in here, I was nervous as hell. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I came from a very systematic business and I knew this was a great system. And the reality is I trusted you and you said, hey, this is going to be easy. You know, all you're going to have to do is write $10,000 a week and you'll be fine. So
Was I wrong?
to go, and I started doing it, you know.
I mean, it wasn't easy. It's never easy. It's very simple, but it's not easy.
Well, I said it wrong. Yeah, you said this is going to be simple.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right.
No, I may have said it's easy. Words do matter, but hey, we're both a little green back then. You talked to me about this before, where you said, you know, I grew up in the restaurant business. That's just how I am able to make analogies and metaphors, because that's just what I know. And we talked about carrot cake yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And I think
love
that's
that,
I think that's just such a good example, because we came in, I mean, how many times a day did we talk? And again, this is in like the world where we were both driving in our cars. My car didn't have an air conditioner back then. So a lot of times when we'd call, I'd have you on speakerphone and stuffed into like my seatbelt right here, because I also didn't have AirPods. But we talk on the phone, what, 5 to 7 times a day, very early on.
As many as we needed. I don't remember. There were a whole lot.
And then you were also talking to Elazar, and you were talking to Mike, and you know, you might text Brian to like you were wanting to get good. You were wanting to establish that. But then you got good. And you got real good. You got really good at making carrot cake, right?
Yeah.
Help us explain that analogy.
So I was a very stubborn builder. I did not start building this business. You know, I started recruiting probably in my first 6 months, but I really wasn't building. I was being forced to do interviews that you would send over to me, but I really wasn't intentional. You know, let's be honest. I really took this serious about 2.5 years into the business about building. And Jen Colburn reached out to me, and I remember what she told me. She told me, Omar, at Symmetry, if you're not recruiting, you're lukewarm. That really hit home for me. Says, oh, so that's really what I look at. And I think what happened to me, and I take full ownership of it, you know, sometimes when you have a recipe, it takes 2 to make it exceptional. But one recipe could be really good, you know, but you need 2 to make exceptional. And get some background, we had the best carrot cake that I've ever tasted. Like, we had the best carrot cake at Lucy's. It was the best, made with pineapple, fluffy, very moist. You had these roasted pecans. We're talking about recipes at the last space show, Colburn Call. And it was really good. So, and it was made from scratch. So these bakers would be making the carrot cake. Once it came out of the oven, you cut it off and get a little bit of carrot cake and you eat it. You really didn't need anything else but that. That was enough. That was really good. But then all of a sudden you would pass by and they were done making the carrot cake, they would be making this icing. This icing was made from sugar and vanilla and, you know, real butter and cream cheese, and you name it, it was good. So you get a little bit of cream cheese and put it on the cake, and that made it exceptional. That's what really made the carrot cake really good. Unfortunately, I got stuck in the cake here at Symmetry. And for you out there that you're probably doing good in production, don't stay there. I'm telling you, from 2.5 years later, get producing and get building, because that's what really makes this recipe exceptional. It takes 2 recipes at Symmetry to make an exceptional recipe. It takes a recipe of recruiting, it takes a recipe of producing to make this exceptional recipe where you have it, now you could offer it. So what happened is, all I did was carrot cake, because I put it out. And if I go back and think about it, all I had was that to offer, a cake with no icing. So I stood there for some time, and once I got to taste the carrot cake with icing, after that was full blown. And you know, kind of like Frank said, you hire this great guy that comes in, and you know, hired Max out of Florida, came out from France, and really he started building. You start seeing a bigger vision, and you have these people helping you build that vision for you, and you can't help it but you grow like that. And that's really where it takes place. And here's what happened to me, Chris. This is going to sound bad, probably for some people. I was a very bad example of the Symmetry system. Let me tell you why. Because people might have seen me and they say, hey, I don't want to be this big producer, but I want to have this business. Well, I wasn't building a business. I was self-employed. So when I really started seeing as well, hey, I'm not really upholding the culture of Symmetry. I'm not holding that vision high for people coming in. When I started thinking about what I was doing for others, things really started changing for me, because I really wanted this to help others. And the reality is not everybody wants to be a big producer. I didn't want to be a big producer. I just wanted the income to pay for the bills, you know. But they gave me this script and I read it, and they gave me this other script that I read in the home, and it just started producing real well. So it's kind of what happened, but I'm doing my best to represent Symmetry the best way I can now.
Well, you are a great example. And we talk about this a lot of times, because like you'll have these moments of open, vulnerable humility, and then I have to like pull you back and be like, well, you're really good, and like I'm talking you up. And it's the funniest conflict any person has in leadership, because I know what you're trying to say, and I'm trying to, like, you know, I used to do the same thing. So I totally get it. But one of the things that I think you do, I really have a hard time thinking of someone who does this better, is you are completely at ease with being humble, totally humble. And you shifted from this stubbornness being the enemy of your success, digging your heels in, making just a great carrot cake, just enjoying your carrot cake. I don't want icing. I don't want to make icing. I don't need icing, to now being like, well, icing's good also, but they're great together. Okay. To now you're totally humble. You're completely prepared to be wrong. Doesn't mean you like it. None of us like being wrong in that moment, but you are willing to do so. One of the most important decisions a person makes every day is the decision that they make to wake up and choose to be in a good mood. And you and I have had moments where you're telling me what you're going through. I'm just like, dude, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, I'm going to be okay. Because you wake up every day to choose to be in a good mood, and you wake up every day to choose to be comfortable with being completely humble. You had a really funny story very early on. I believe we talked about it afterwards, not in the moment of it, but you were like walking into a house and someone was quite literally walking out, and the guy was
my hands start sweating when you say that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you remember that we talked about this. First of all, you're just like, Chris, I don't even know what to wear to work. And I was like, well, just, you know, like a button-down shirt or a polo and just some like khakis or some trousers or something like that. And you're just like, I don't know, okay. And then so you walk out to this, you're going into a house, and this guy's wearing like a really nice suit, leather briefcase, and looking really sharp. And you're just kind of like walking in, feeling pretty insecure.
So I would tell you, any new agent hearing right now, or if you're stuck, or if you want to learn everything about the business, you never will. Life insurance is like immigration. It changes every month. So don't try to learn everything. Just go out there and do it. To grow in the moment, don't prepare for it. And that's what happened to me. Too many times, I think we spend too much time thinking about ourselves and the way we're going to look, that we forget to make mistakes to help others. And that's really what happened with Get Stuck. So one of the things that happened, I was one of those ones that, you know, you told me to book 15 appointments. I booked 12, and I went door knock till I got like 18. And then it's kind of like hit me with like a big brick in my head. I said, what am I doing now? What am I even selling? Like, is this mortgage protection? Is this life insurance? What is this? What do I do next? So I went to the virtual mentor, got my quotes together. I got my lead, and I go to home, and I get there, and I called you, and you sold the policy, and it got declined the next day because she had cancer. And then from there, I kind of had an idea what I was doing. You know, I did a couple more, but I went into it was still my first or second week. I don't remember. I went into this home, and I'm very nervous. As I go there, this guy's coming out, and I'm wearing jeans and an untucked shirt. Like, I saw a video of Casey Watkins says you got to be comfortable so people connect with you. But this guy's walking in with a suit, tie, leather briefcase, and I know this guy sells insurance. Like, there's a typical insurance guy. I walk in, and there's like 20 pamphlets of different companies and different products or stuff on the table. And the lady looks at me, And this is the first thing that came out of my mouth. Ma'am, I think you're covered, right? So you don't need my services no more. And I turned around and walked. I said, wait a minute. We haven't done anything. We didn't purchase anything. Why not? Like, I wanted to leave. I just wanted to get out of there. So I sit down, I go with him and says, man, this guy took 2 hours to go through this presentation. Are we gonna have to do another 2 hours? And I felt really embarrassed because I don't know enough to go over 20 minutes. Like, what am I gonna say? Forget the why, forget the presentation, forget all that. All I did was take out a script that I still carry in my bag, and I still have it when I'm doing a virtual call, and I go through the script and I go through the 3 options. And I went through 2 because at the beginning, all I did was sell term and ROP for my first 2 years. That's all I ever sold. I never did an IUL. Sorry, I didn't. I didn't know how to do it. So I go over to the term and the term ROP. The lady looks around, looks at the husband and says, yeah, we'll take the ROP, which is an numerical policy with return of premium. And I said, really? You want this? And he says, the husband says, well, isn't that what you're here to do? I said, no. I said, you want this one, not the other one. I kind of figured out what I just said. But I realized that all I needed to do was read a script. I realized that people didn't even care what it was. They care what it did. It was going to pay off their home in the event of something happening to them. And that's all they really cared about. From then, I was if you talk about producing, I'm a product of the system. That's all I ever do. To this day, I still read the script and I go word for word from the script, and I do that. But I built my confidence to know that I was in the right place with the right system, really, that this was going to work out. It wasn't about me. It was about the system. It was about people I was meeting with.
Yeah, I mean, it was rough. It was rough early on both of us. Like, neither of us really knew what we were doing. I sold that policy. I was mowing the lawn, and you called me, and I took it, and then it got declined. But hey, we did it. We got across the finish line, kind of. But like, we failed, and then we failed again, and then we got back up, and we failed again, and we failed again, and we failed again, and we failed again. And I have a highlighter right here, like, failure is the foundation of success. Your success is completely foundational upon your failures. But one of the things I've just always really, really, really appreciated about you was your ability to identify that failure was an event, not an individual.
Yeah.
You're not a failure. You just made a mistake. In the same way that a person who trips is not a tripper. They are not unable to walk. They are not disabled. They just tripped. Can you talk about how understanding that has just been the prerequisite for success?
Yeah, so I'll tell you something. I've never made the same mistake twice or 3 times. I probably made it twice, but not 3 times. And the second time was unintentional. I'll go back to when I started pre-licensing. I wanted to score as low as I could on my pre-license test when I was going through the license coach. And the reason I wanted to score as low as I could, because that would tell me what I needed to work on. So I would go through, I would score, I think my first score was like a 37. This is a pre-test, not proctored at the state. But then I knew what to go study. And then second one went up to like a 67, and I kept working and working and working and working at it, working at it and working at it and working at it. So what I started doing is really, when I started the system, I really went in and I really wanted to find out what I did wrong. And the only reason I could find out what I did wrong is I did enough of it. If I was making, a lot of people tell me, hey, Omar, how long did it take you to memorize a script? Well, it didn't take me a day and it didn't take me a week. It took me about 500 conversations, 500 people answering the phone, and 500 times going through the script. After that, it was, just going through it. How many times did it take me to go through and sell a policy and feel comfortable? It probably took me about 6 weeks of 15 appointments every single week. And after that, I think it got so good, that's why I never recruited. So shame on me. I didn't go out there and offer this to anybody, right? So you don't know what you don't know until you do it. So if you're holding back because you just want to look good, or you want to have the best available options for the client and stuff like that, I would say to anybody thinking that right there, you're really thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about the people. You're thinking about you're going to look bad. You're going to look embarrassed. What people want really to do when you meet with them, they want to know that you care. They want you to spend enough time with them, just talking, venting. Sometimes, you get those clients that just want someone to cry on because you start talking about insurance, people relate it to death, and all of a sudden it becomes serious. And people will really buy when they know you care. People won't buy when you know a whole lot, because obviously, the guy that went before me, he knew a lot more than I did. Clearly, he had been in insurance because he thought, but what I saw on the table says, and I asked that lady, hey, why did you not buy from that guy? She said, well, he just made it very confusing. So I would tell anybody in this business, don't worry about anything else other than to go meet with your clients, connect with them, and really just sit right there. And then when you start having those first interviews, when me and you talk, clearly I wasn't the best interviewer. Okay. I really wanted this job because I wanted to be free from the corporate world, but it was enough to hear that you actually cared enough to hear me out of what I wanted to get out of it. And I said, okay, I'm sold. What I need to start doing. And it was really, hey, after that, it's boom, let's do it. But create those never again moments, as Brian Delaney would say, and never do them again. But you won't create those moments if you don't do the activity, whether it's recruiting, that's taking the test, that is meeting with families, that's helping people. It doesn't matter. You need those moments, and you need to go out there and just do it and fail fast.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you are a doer. You are not a talker. And you have always been that from the start. And that is one of the takeaways that I want everyone to understand, right? Have a bias towards action, not a bias towards thinking. And really, just talkers aren't really the most successful people. It's not the solution. The action is the solution. And you don't need to be convinced to do anything. You just do it. And to kind of skip ahead here, because we're a little bit on time, but you've always managed to stay focused on what the big picture is, what you're doing here. Your ability to just not sweat the small stuff. I'm not going to embarrass you, but I have had some conversations with you where you are doing incredible things for people out of this sheer, genuine, just love for people. And I want to embarrass you because I enjoy embarrassing you. I'm not going to, but the amount of times that you've just been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this for this person. Oh no, they're not a client anymore. I'm just doing this because it's the right thing to do. Right? You let stuff go, and you love letting stuff go. Where does that come from? And how much liberty has it given you in your life to get to this level of just placid happiness and gratitude that you're at?
Yeah, I think it stems from, man, I hate when you do that, Chris. Sometimes I really don't like what you do to me. I think it comes from the way I was raised. I said, hey, at the age of 13, me, my brother, my sister, we had to find a place to live. But I don't remember ever being sad. I don't remember being unhappy. And I don't remember being hungry. I remember being loved. And I always gravitated to that. So it's really giving a little bit of a lot that has been given to me. So when I found Symmetry, man, it's just given me so much. When I found you, you've given me so much. Mike, when I was going through the struggles of, hey, I was just stagnant. I didn't know what to do. I was having a rough time, and get a phone call, say, hey, I'll be there tomorrow. What do you mean you'll be there tomorrow? Yeah, just pick me up at the airport. I'll be there tomorrow. Says, I got meetings. Cancel them. I'll be there tomorrow. And then just spending that time, Jane Colburn, you answering the calls, people that don't know, when I I think I went to anxiety attacks. You know, they say when you change jobs, that happens to you. Never had it, didn't even know that's what it was. But people have given me so much that I think I haven't given enough. You know, and I think that's where it comes from. I mean, I do it subconsciously. I don't. Just something that comes out. I'm just grateful. Grateful for you. I mean, I'm grateful for Ashley Tarr when she gets on a call with Tyler and I hear how they speak. You know, Miranda Martin, Brian Delaney, his marriage, you know, Danny Young, when I see him and his wife, and, you know, they're a testament of what it looks like to be married that many years, you know. So those examples really are impactful. They really are. Brad Smith, I mean, list goes on.
Well, two things. One, you're an example. And you are on this call with over 1,000 people right now, and you're an example for them. You know, it doesn't make you any less grateful for the examples that have come before you, but at the same point in time, you know, we're going to trot you out here and just be like, look at this incredible human being and the gratitude that he feels for doing the right thing for people. There is no conflict of interest. He doesn't have to be for himself. He gets to be for others. And through that, he does well. His family does well. Their families do well. His community does well.
That's what happens, Chris, when you pay it back, you know. I'll tell you a story before I go over short, but I met with a client, probably it's been over a year. And that and he wanted to replace it. I said, well, before we do, let's call. When we call it, he had enough cash value. I said, don't replace it, man. Just keep what you got. If you don't want to add insurance, just keep what you got. Don't replace it. Just leave it alone. Guy looked at me and says, you are a horrible search person. I would have already fired you, man. So, but thank you. So I left. About 6 months later, he called me up and he said, hey, I'm wanting to add more insurance. You're the guy. Come on over. I want a policy for my wife. I want a policy for myself. And I want a policy for my granddaughter. Sure, went over there and did it. There's countless times that you might let go of something in the moment, but what you get without even knowing about it in the future is way, way greater. I left a $172,000 average salary job, working twice as many hours that I'm working right now. And I make more money now than I did that, but you have to let go, you know, you just have to let go.
You know, the twins are really funny in that they're like a constant experiment with how these analogies that we work with here apply to children as well. And Sloan is not good on the monkey bars, and she's not good on the monkey bars because she will go 2 or 3 and then she'll just think and she'll hang on to 2 monkey bars. She won't let go of the one she just came on to move forward, and eventually her grip strength will wear out. Marin is a maniac and doesn't care and never falls down because she's just moving through it as fast as possible. You've been able to let that go and you just move through the monkey bars as fast as possible. And you're the perfect example of that. So I really, and those kids think you're the coolest anyway, but I told them I was talking to you today, by the way, and they said, do a good job and have fun with your work. Do a good job and have fun with your work friends, specifically is what they say. So final thing I have here, I just some takeaways, and I'll let you, I'll ask anyone who's still left, like, show some love to Omar in the chat, because this beautiful human being really, he doesn't like hearing deserves it, but he deserves to hear how good he is. But the takeaways I have here are humility, hard work, coachability, having a great spirit is the best way to impact a ton of people. You can't be afraid of change, learning new things. Don't let your pride get in your way, and focus on the big picture. Don't let yourself get bogged down by distractions. But Omar, your income, your happiness, your success, it's based upon your ability to adapt with gratitude. You personally, you create with plenitude. you've earned that. You just keep learning. You keep growing yourself. And it's your personal philosophy that I've seen that your life's deciding principles are going to be based upon growing yourself.
I just want to just following the leaders here, Chris, following you, following Mike, following Brad, Edward, Brian Delaney. Just that's the beauty of this business. You just get to see others. I love seeing people's lives, not necessarily their income, but I love seeing people's lives. That's what really impacts me. And I'm just grateful to be here. If I would tell anybody, just look at the way Symmetry lives and you'll want more of the cake.
Perfect, man. Hey, I love you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for blessing everyone with your presence. Thank you, bud.
Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody. Be blessed, everybody.
Absolutely. See y'all.